Everyone who wants to be a part of the IT industry as a developer one day need to know how to create and maintain repositories on Git and GitHub. This video is for you. Keep watching. For better results, every work needs to be very organized so as software development. Applications are not developed by a single developer, so developers need a place where they can keep their code and other developers can use that code. So developers need a place where they can keep their programs in a systematic fashion and share with other developers in the team. The place where they keep their programs is called as a repository. Git and GitHub are version control systems. A version control system is used to create and manage repositories for the files, mostly the source code written by application developers. Git is a free, open source, distributed version control system that can be installed locally on a machine to create and manage repositories locally. Git is designed for everything from small scale to large scale projects with great deal of speed and efficiency. Git is considered as a better version control system than others in terms of functionality. Git is used by large companies like Microsoft, LinkedIn, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Netflix, Android and Eclipse for their project development. Git is installed locally to create repositories on a local machine, whereas GitHub is an online service where all the repositories are created on the server and can be used online across the development teams. GitHub is a web-based hosting service with 100 million repositories used by 31 million developers and 2.1 million businesses. GitHub is now owned by Microsoft and it is used by companies like NASA, Walmart, Airbnb, Google, IBM, Facebook, Spotify and million other companies for development of their applications. Search Git download in the search engine of your choice like Bing. It will take you to the official Git website gitscm.com. I am downloading Git for Windows 64-bit version, but you can do the same for Linux or Mac. Current version of Git is 2.19 and the download size is just 42 MB, so it's a small download anyway. Now double click the downloaded installer and install the Git software. Now double click the downloaded installer and install the Git software. Detailed documentation of all the Git commands and a book is available on the Git website for further reference. Once the installation is done, we can check the version of Git installed. Create and change directory to try Git commands. Initialize Git and create an empty repository using the git init command. We haven't done anything in the directory, so the status returns nothing to commit in the repository. Create a new file in the directory so that we can try adding the file in the repository. Type a line of text in the file and save it in the directory. Now check the status of the repository and we find name of the recently created file in the output that needs to be added to the repository. Use git add command to add the file to the local repository and check the status again. Now we find the file that is added but not yet committed. Use git commit command to commit changes to the repository. When we use the command for the first time, it asks for the name and email ID of the user. Specify these details using git config command. Now execute the git commit command to confirm changes to the local repository. Add few lines of code in the existing file. Check the status that shows a file modified but not committed. Also create one more file in the directory. Again check the status. It will show one modified and one new file created in the directory. Add these file changes. These changes are not yet committed, so execute git commit command to update the repository with new changes. Modify the second file, save, add and commit changes. Now the local repository is up to date. We want to upload this to the remote server-side repository on GitHub. GitHub is a web-based server-side code hosting service for version control using Git. In October 2018, Microsoft acquired GitHub for $7.5 billion US. GitHub has more than 100 million repositories used by more than 31 million developers and 2.1 million businesses worldwide. Register on GitHub for free, log in and create a sample repository to upload programs from the local Git. Copy URL of the GitHub repository so that we can connect the local Git with the GitHub server for centralized storage and sharing of code across development teams. The GitHub remote command is used to associate local Git with the GitHub server. For doing this, we need the GitHub repository URL. After associating the local repository with the remote one, we can primarily perform two operations, push and pull. First time working with the remote repository, we must first use pull command to fetch contents from the server and integrate them with the local repository. It actually syncs the two repositories. If we directly use push command for the first time, it returns an error. Now after pull, we can push the changes as many times as we want from the local Git to the GitHub server repository. After using push command, both the repositories will have identical contents. We will now change some code in the local workspace, add it to the local repository and again push the changes to the GitHub repository. Check the code on the server. Branching is an important concept while working with Git. Branch is a copy of code that we can separately change without disturbing the master contents. After branching, we have two sets of programs. If we are sure, we can later merge the branch with the master and delete the branch. Finally, we upload the local repository to GitHub for sharing the code with other developers. Let's take an example of another developer who has installed Git on her machine and connected to the same remote repository. Initialize Git, pull all the programs from GitHub. Code from the server is now copied onto the local workspace and now we can edit it. Instead of editing the main contents, create a branch with name corrections using git branch command. Select the branch using git checkout command. Now we have another copy of code that we can edit, save, add and commit. Go back to the master branch and check the contents. They are not affected. If we wish to change the master with the changes in the branch, we can use git merge command so that every change in the branch can be applied on the master. Finally, delete the branch and push the changes to GitHub. So whatever a developer has done on the client side is now available on the server for others. This is called as social coding.